ఎవరి బోధన ఎవరి బోధన ఎవరి மறுபரி மறுபரி கோர்வஜல நூர மறுபரி கோர்வஜல நூர மறுபரி கோர்வஜல நூர மத சாதமி சரி கமருப கோர்வஜல மத சத மத மகரி கமகரி சரி கமத சரி கமருப கோர்வஜல சத மகரி கமத மகரி சரி கமத சரி மருப கோர்வஜல சரி சரி சதமத சரி சரி சதமத சரி சதமகரி சரி சரி சதமத சரி சதமகரி சரி கமத சரி கமரி கரி சரி mada da magari sari ga maruba ai mura maruba
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaskaram. On behalf of Indian Octaves, I extend a warm welcome to all the music enthusiasts around the world who are tuned in to our live streaming today. Indian Octaves is devoted to promoting India's traditional art forms in the United States and across the globe through concerts, lecture demonstrations, and workshops. We intend to regularly organize a variety of such events and look forward to your continued participation and patronage. Myself and my co-host, Srimati Bhuvana Ashok, will engage in a lively conversation with none other than the musical genius Sri Kunnakudi Balamurali Krishna for the next 1.5 hours or so. Our topics for discussion would be anything from tips and tricks to student for a great learning experience to in-depth discussion about the maestro's perception of various aspects of Karnataka Sangeeta. Before I have Bona take it away, let me introduce myself. I'm Mythraeyee Mukundan from Allen, Texas, an IT leader by profession, but a Carnatic vocalist, musician, teacher, and always a student. My first guru was my grandfather, Sri Rajagopala Tatacharyar, who was a disciple of Sri Tiger Vardachar. I continued my musical journey under the tutelage of Srimati Lakshmi Ramanan and Srimati Annapurna Nagarajan, who was a disciple of Sri DKJ Sir. And I'm blessed to be a student of the Semangudi Srinivasarya Sishya Parampara, an artist at the All India Radio who's passionate about Carnatic music. I teach students in the United States and helps them appreciate the art form. So take it away, Bhuvana.
Namaskaram to all of you. I'm also known as Padma Ashok. Some of you may know me as Bhuvana. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. And I seek blessings from my gurus today for making me the person that I am, for even putting me out here to be able to share my views, ideas, and exchange thoughts. I learned music from a very young age from Srimati Tulasi Shenoy of Tripodithura, Kerala, and then continued with Srimati Neela Ram Gopal of Bangalore. They instilled in me the love for this wonderful art form that I continue to learn every day and will continue to for as long as I breathe. I've lived in the Dallas area for 20 years and have been teaching for as long and run a school called Divya Dhwani, where I teach students 5 years and older. More than teach, I share the knowledge that my gurus gave to me with them and instill in them the love of this art form because they're the ones who will carry it forward. For me, teaching is a responsibility. I not only teach, but I also learn while teaching. Having said that, we turn to our wonderful artist of the day, Sri Kunnakudi Balamurali Krishna. Namaste, sir. Welcome.
Namaste.
Namaste. We have the honor of talking and hearing one of the most sought after, informed, and talented musicians of our times. Sri Kunnakudi Balamurali Krishna, disciple of doyens of Carnatic music like Sri P.S. Narayan Swami, for vocal for over 2.5 decades, and also for Mridangam under Sri Karekudi Mani Iyer for almost the same time, or if for almost the same time. He's a vibrant performer who's ever keen on experimenting on stage with his accompanists and also collaborating with artists of different genres, including Hindustani, Persian, Western fusion. He is an exponent on Pallavis and is known for attempting different nadais and talas that are challenging. He has an exhaustive list of accolades from many prestigious institutes in India and abroad. To mention a couple, he's been awarded the Yuvakala Jyoti, the Ganamrita Mani, and also is a recipient of the Sangeet Natak Academy Puraskar. We are immensely fortunate, sir, to have you as an artist of your caliber here today with us, and also to share your views, your ideas, and personal experiences with your gurus. And so our viewers know the one and only topic that has brought us all together during these troubled times, that's Karnataka Sangeetam. With this, we would like to request you to please start this session by a song of choice in your powerful yet mellifluous voice, in your style.
Thank you. Yes, this is one of the songs I learned maybe 2 years into my training with my guru, and still stays one of my favorite songs. The ragam, it's a very rare kriti, it should say. It's one of the two known songs by Tyagaraja on God Shanmuka. It's in the ragam Supradeepam. Varasiki vahana varijalochana, Varasiki vahana varijalochana, Kurusham tanojita Kusumasharayuta, Varashiki vahana varijalochana, Guru Samtanujita Kusuma Sharayuta, Varasiki vahana Sharaj bhavambhuta Sharaj bhavambhuta vahanadi Sharaj bhavambhuta vahanadi Suranute pada suguna kumara Suranute pada suguna kumara Varasiki vahana varijalochana Guru Samtanujita Kusuma Sharayuta Varasiki vahana Tarak Sura पद्मासुर धूल तारक सूर पद्मासुर तूल दहन भूधर सुधानंदन वीर दहन भूधर सुधानंदन धीर श्री रघुवीर बागिने श्री रघुवीर बागिने मलदर गुणाकर त्याग प्रजाचित मलदर गुणाकर त्याग चित वर्षिकी वादन वारिजलोचन पुरुषं तनूजित कुसुम शरायुत वर्षिकी
That was wonderful. Thank you so much for such a vibrant start.
Thank you.
Mythraeyee.
Yep. Audience, and I'm sure, all of us would agree, this was just a sneak peek to, what you said, Bhuvana, the powerful yet mellifluous voice, right? It's just a sneak peek. Well, let me start with my first question to you, Balamurali ji. Every artist owe their success and knowledge largely to their gurus, for it's their blessings and benevolence that bring out the artist out of the student. What would you like to say about your guru of gurus, Sri Pearson sir, and Karekudi Mani sir? And what was your first composition that you learned from Pearson sir? If you can present it for us today, that would be great. But before that, we would really like to hear from you. What more precious can it be for a student to talk about their gurus? Right?
Of course, it's always a pleasure to talk about them, because I owe it all to my parents and my gurus. My dad was my first guru, and then I learnt a bit from Sri Naivalli Sandana Gopalan sir, and a bit again from Sri V. Sundaresan. And I was also involved in a fellowship program with Sri B. Krishnamurthy sir. So this is my background. Other than this, I've been with Pearson sir for about last should say 20, 26, 25, 26 years. I joined him when I was 8, and he must have been 59. So, and we had a great equation actually. So I went there. He was not ready to take me to an interesting story. Just to just to look back, how I joined him. It's very interesting because he was extremely busy with classes, and he was performing as well. And he was not ready to take me up. And I was also I was an 8-year-old, and he hadn't heard me sing. So he said, I wouldn't be able to take you up. And then my dad asked him whether we can just come and do a namaskaram to him and just visit him and get his blessings. So he said okay for that, and we went. He asked me to sing a Varnam. I still remember I sang every Bodhana, the Avbogi Varnam. And halfway through, he just got up and went inside. And I remember thinking, should I continue to sing or should I just stop? And I don't know, because he just went off. Uh, and then he came back in about 3 minutes with a panchankam with a, and then said, today is a good day, so we'll just start today.
Wow.
So that's how my classes started with him. We were not prepared for that. We really didn't think that, and we just went casually just to get his blessings and maybe sing. Maybe if I get an opportunity, just sing one song before him and get his blessings. That's all. So that was a huge surprise, and he taught me Narasimha Mamava. It is Kriti in Arabic. It's a Swati Tirunal Kriti, not Kanda Chapu. That was my first Kriti with him. And then he taught me a lot of Varnams after that. Uh, so that's how I started with PSN sir. Um, it's an unbelievable journey because he uh, he lives and shows us what he thinks as being the best way to sing, and it's up to us to take in as much as, if we are fortunate enough to concentrate and we observe and take it. The more we observe, the more we benefit. He does not talk a lot during classes. He just sings. I was also fortunate in one another count because during my first initial formative years, he used to sing along. He used to sing Nerabal Swarams and Tanam along with us during class. So uh, it's I cannot even describe how much learning happened just by listening to him during class. And he used to train us in various different ways. If it is swaram singing, what, the classes were more. I started performing when I was 11. Even after that, the classes with him were more energetic, and we look forward to it more than a concert.
Mhm.
So the classes will go on for an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, and maybe one or two kritis per class
Wow.
learn. And he will sing swarams, and he will pick those ragams which will surely make you want to cry at the age. Something like Malavi, something like Nayaki. Uh, no, only ragams like this, Saraswati Manohari. So we used to sing swarams for that, and he will sing along with this. And he, of course, will have infinite number of combinations and some things that he can sing without even repeating any of his ideas. And it will be a struggle to start with, and then the more I hear him during class, you'll get ideas from what he sings, and you'll start developing on that. That is how you learn, with him.
Oh, that's
He
good.
rarely spoke. Yeah, he rarely spoke, but whatever he spoke was like life changing for me, literally. Uh, uh, it was so effective. The words that he chose to talk about Kamakams, to talk about how to understand Sangati if you are not able to get it in your voice. Each voice will have an uniqueness, and I used to struggle a lot with my with for speed and range initially. So he used to give me ideas about how to tackle certain Sangatis. So with just one small sentence, he'll just change the way you look at things, your complete approach towards a particular Sangati. So I can keep on going about Sir.
Oh, this
And
this is
with
amazing.
Manish,
Yeah.
sorry, you were saying?
No,
Sorry.
no, this is amazing, and my mind is already racing for, oh, I know what to ask next. That is how it is. Please carry on. Yeah.
Uh, and with Mani sir, it's another sweet story for me. I hero worship Mani sir ever since I started hearing Mridangam. So I always wanted to learn from him, and I knew that he was a really good friend of PS Nandaswamy sir. So my dad, I asked my dad, and he, like, kind of slowly asked PS and Mama just whether he can join me to Mani sir some point. And then it happened when I was sometime between I was my 13th and 14th year, I think. He said, just come to this concert and in Shastri Hall, Chennai. Mani sir was playing for my guru, so and then he introduced us and said, "This is the child that I told you about." And then Mani sir said, we sat for the whole concert, and after the concert, he saw me putting talam and all. After the concert, he just called me and said, gave a date and then asked me to come and join the classes. So, so my guru helped me start my Mridangam lessons too.
Wow.
That is how it happened.
It gives goosebumps. I can imagine how thrilled you would have been at that point of time. Totally unexpected, and that's Acharya Sankalpam, right? It's
Really?
blessings, and blessing always showers. When it rains, it pours, right?
And
So
it does.
showers on you, and
Of course.
I'm literally having goosebumps to hear that picking and being chosen by the guru is out of the world.
Well, I can say I'm completely blessed on that. Really, it's a great blessing that way.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And I'm like, you should definitely sing to us. When you were talking about PSN sir, you were telling his technique of how he taught you the sangatis. He would try and teach you how to. And viewers, we all know what complicated sangatis that Balamurali actually sings. And if there was even a period where he was looking to learn, that itself is like, oh yes, now I'm all ears. Please tell us, like, how would you explain to a child as a teacher? We would be really interested in knowing how would you explain to a child if the student is unable to actually get a sangati, the fast, the columns in it, or a particular sangati which has a lot of urutal paratal in it. How would you try and teach them?
It basically depends on the student. So there is no one technique. There is a general way of saying how to get that sangadi, for sure. But then, if you look into it, it basically depends on the student's voice, fluency, student's compatibility with you, how long the student has been with you, how. So you will get an idea of what to say so that the student understands what you're trying to say. That, and also it also depends on the level of the um, level of music that the student is right now in. And to some extent, I would say the age doesn't matter as much as uh, the uh, the level they are in right now, how long they've been listening to music, how long they've been learning. That matters more for me. And then I try to deconstruct to teach a sangadi that the student is not getting. The best way is to either go backwards, start from the end of the sangadi and then go backwards and ask them to build on top of it. If the sangati is 1 2 3 4, ask them to sing the 4 and then 3 4 and 2 3 4, and then it's easy to understand and comprehend 1 2 3 4 fully.
Would you be able to demo that by with a certain sangati?
Okay. Okay. This is a really, it's a very small kriti tuned by T.M. Tyagarajan sir. Bala Tripura Sundari Kala Graha Doshani Varini. So the last sangati in the Pallavi is Bala Tripura Sundari Kala Graha Doshani Varini Bala. So to get this sangati without breaks, and to understand where to take a break, where not to take a break. So you have to go back. The entire 4 lines, they have to understand in completion to sing it correctly. So Kala Graha Varini Kalagrahadoshani Oshani Varini. So from there we have to start, and then Kalagrahadoshani Varini,
Okay.
and then go backwards. Like this is it's
Basically,
just
add on, or like slowly, like bass.
yeah. Uh, this holds good for any small sangati too. Any briga that the student is not going to get immediately, can just slow it down. That's the first key for me.
Okay.
If you don't understand something, you slow it down. You
Okay.
slow the sangati down, and then and my yeah, very interestingly, like what I said, the one thing which changed my life, like what my guru said was, he asked me to look for the punch point in any sangati.
Okay.
Not getting the sangati, look for where you hit it. So there will be hit points in any briga. Na, 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 na.
Right.
So, na. So if you are not able to get this, na. So this is not about understanding the sankati as much as not getting it in your voice.
Right.
So for the student to get exactly what the guru is singing, not something like it.
Okay.
So the difference between trying to sing something like what the guru sang versus what the guru actually sang. So to get the exact thing, the key is always the punch points for us.
Okay.
So wherever I hit it, if the guru hits there and I hit it on the same point, I'll probably get this sangari much easier in my
I see.
voice.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is all he said. He just said one line. Enga adikaronu paru. So look at the punch point. So that opened up a lot of things. It made life a lot easier for me after that, to understand and get sangadis. He had a very vibrant voice. He had a very fast and very voluminous voice. It could do anything in any speed with such volume. So to be frank with, it was intimidating to listen to his voice even when he was like 65 and when he was 70. His voice was that powerful. So to get the sangadis and not at all able to get certain sangadis, and then understand how to navigate, how to work with those sangadis was a huge turn.
Challenging.
Yeah, yeah.
It
You know,
is a
moving on
learning
to the
experience in itself, right? When you do that, it is a
Sorry.
learning experience in itself.
Oh yeah,
Understanding
yeah,
that,
for
decoding,
sure.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
moving on to the next question, and just before I forget, wanted to ask you. You said that you probably learned 1 to 2 kirtanas every class. So, wondering how many kirtanas are there in your repertoire, just to get an idea.
Uh, I really don't count. uh,
Just curious.
Maybe close to 1800,
Oh wow!
Wow.
1500, 1800. I'm not sure. Definitely more than 1500. I don't
So
even
you
know.
know that, yeah. The next question. See, a master of the yesteryears like Samgudi, sir, they sang mostly songs of the Trinity, and in ragas that are very popular, like Kamboji or Bhairavi or Todi, or Karahara Priya, and they would sing it often in different, in many concerts. They would repeat their pieces,
Mhm.
and it kind of made me think: does that give them, and basically they can explore the raga in depth, and they sounded different every time because of that in-depth exploration.
Yeah.
So whereas these days, I see, the younger generation artists, even you, for that matter, sing wonderfully, beautifully, but the choice of ragas are rarer. Does that provide you scope to kind of for in-depth exploration? because you might sing one beautiful raga this concert, and another concert another. So does that give you scope to explore the raga with in depth, like
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can. Yeah.
So this needs further exploration because we have to
Okay.
go back to certain things as the number of concerts they used to perform in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and the kind of mediums that their music was available, which was mostly live concerts and nothing else. Uh, Maybe people, a few of them recorded their music, but then it was mostly there. For, take Samangudi Mama in the 70s, the music of Samangudi Mama was available only through live concerts.
Yes.
So, but now with about how varied and how exponentially the media has grown for Carnatic music, for any kind of music for that matter, and how much everybody's music is available. So that way, again, I'm going backwards now, saying that that's the reason we also try to uh, expand our number of ragams that we sing in a concert, because you always need variety. There is, if there is five different concerts already uh, available with me singing Bhairavi, I wouldn't want to sing Bhairavi on the next concert, which I probably think will be on social media again. So that is how this would have started, like people starting to explore other things. But no, I mean, this is just one of the reasons. The other reason is that for us, Samungri and GNP and MDR and all these great Vidwans all through Pradesh, they all sound traditional. They are our traditional role models and our the Sampradayic musicians for us. But in their times, they were really, really innovative.
Okay.
I've read reviews about Sammangudi Srinivas Iyer, in which the critic had said he explores a lot. He's not doing the actual Sampradayam thing. He's not doing the traditional thing alone. He
For
does a
those.
lot of exploration. So you get an idea about how they were looked at when they were in their younger age. So it so that is, so we cannot just say that they were just exploring a few things. They were probably expanding their repertoire. And I've seen a lot of Tamil songs, lot of uh, Telugu songs by other composers that Samangudi and GNB and MDR have explored.
Yeah.
It's not just the Trinity. Yes, predominantly they sang only Trinity music, and we still do. If you think about it, uh, the percentage might have been reduced now, but we still always stick to the Trinity. The percentage might have reduced a little bit more,
Yeah.
though.
And
But
it's not to say that the newer compositions or the ragas are lesser in any way. It's just that it's probably it's understood that the Trinity composed when they composed a song in a certain raga, they had pretty much all the elements of the raga in that song.
yeah, for sure.
So it is like a treasure trove. One song, learning a song in Begada, like Vallabhanayakasya, would have so many. It has everything of Begada in it that Dikshidhar composed. I'm not doubting the ability of the contemporary composers. I'm just saying that So since they repeated those things so often, like it was, the phrases of the ragas and the patented sangatis are so much in the listener's mind that that, oh, Begarana, these are the things. But so does singing a new raga or exploring new ragas every often allow that? Will the does it take away from basically in-depth exploration is what I was asking, so.
Well, yes, I was getting to that. So this is the reason. This is one of the reasons,
Okay.
because one is that you need variety. The other is that uh, they were probably doing the same.
Yeah, at
And
their age.
yeah, and for an example, I even realized when I heard one copy, it didn't sound outlandish. There was no surprise sangadis, but every single sangadi was new when I heard somebody sing a
I
copy.
see. Uh-huh.
It you had a difference in how you approached it. So they were explosively trying out new things, and they surely face it. They had more. They spent more time with music than we ever could.
Correct. So
So that said, it is fun to explore.
new ragas, yes.
Yes, for sure. It is. It's really fun, and to get to know. And how do you even start doing a new raga? It is the same process. You're just used to Vallabhanayakasya. You're used to Nadopasanache. You're used to those kritis. If you have to get used to Palintuo, you will. It is just how much of an effort that you put in
Correct.
to get to know Kantamani.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is on the artist to do that. So
Yes.
if you are ready to do that, yes,
Yeah.
it is complete total fun, because
Well,
it's a new territory. It's a place where you go there. It's your understanding of what the Trinity. It is always going to be what the Trinity did or somebody before them. So any composer even after that, the basis is always going to be a Trinity mostly, or composers before them. So the kind of grammar that the Trinity gave us on every single ragam is unbelievable.
mm,
Uh, to understand each and every single nuances, like Tyagaraja composed almost 50 songs in Todi, and each has a different feel to it.
yeah. Yes.
Yes, Inadella does not sound like Kadanu Variki.
Of course.
So, and I can just keep on saying this. Aragibave does not sound like Ninuvina. They both start at the Sa,
Yeah.
but they have a completely different feel.
Yeah.
So they showed you a lot of things like this, even with just one song. Tyagaraja composed a lot of songs in one ragam, and there are no other kritis in that ragam. He just composed one song in that ragam. Like there are a lot of ragams that he composed like this. Bina Sajjam. Uh, I can keep on saying. So so those ragams, the only data you have is his songs.
Yes.
It's super fun to explore and look into every single detail. And then you have I'm blessed with Guru Parampara, who are very diligent about how they bring down the what they learned from their guru. And mine is also a parampara from Tyagaraja lineage,
Yes.
so because of Samangudi Sinivasi and his guru. So you get a lot of, so they have preserved the padantaram that they learned from their guru, which I try to do as well. When I teach what I learned in a concert, in a live concert. Sometimes you get a new idea, you get a small improvisational idea that you want to do, and then like you just do it on the spot there. But while teaching, I try to give exactly what I learned from my guru,
I see.
so that my students get a feel of what I got. It's on them to know and explore and then observe what is being given, but then they should have the data as I had it.
Correct. Yes.
So going back to what you asked, it is. Uh, I should say it is a good thing to explore new ragams.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Mythraeyee, go on.
Oh, thank you, Bhuvana. It was a perfect segue when you were talking about the technology aspect, right? Today, technology has opened doors to uh, varied opportunities and access to a lot of material and to a lot more than what we can comprehend. So that being said, learning from more than one guru has become very common today. Would you recommend this practice for students? What is your take on it? Does that contribute to, let me put it very precise, does that contribute to confusion in the formative years of students, or does it give a totally different perspective, another perspective, or approach to music? My only worry or concern here is that I can listen to n number of YouTube videos or whatever is available out there, but how would I know which one to choose? I am at a risk out there, and that happens here in this field as well, like any other field. So what do you think about it?
To be frank with, I actually insist on one guru concept when students come to me. I'm okay with them learning in a workshop. I'm okay with them learning specific songs and stuff like that. But uh, the core learning should happen with just one guru, any guru for that matter, just one guru, because there is a feel to anyone's singing, any guru's way of teaching, any Padantra lineage. So, growing up, a student should not be confused with
Absolutely.
two different ways of teaching, two different ways of exploring Carnatic music. So, what happens is, I understand it's hard. There is a lot of data available. Uh, so I used to hear stories. I've read a lot of stories, maybe like 60, 70 years back, or maybe even further back, when you read about these the life history of these musicians, that their guru insisted they'll listen only to their music for the first 10 years. So I thought, how is this going to be possible? Why shouldn't I listen to another great Vidwan? Why would they stop? But so that's not going to be possible now. But I understood what they meant actually. It is not their ego of insisting all their students. They didn't want a totalitarian approach. Had it been that, we wouldn't have had an MDR, a Samangudi, and a GNP with so varied style of music. They all were. They all sang what we know today as Sampradayam, but they all sounded different.
Right.
How was that possible, right? When they had so much little data. They learned from one guru at one time. They practiced. They didn't have a lot of YouTube videos to go and refer to. They didn't have a mix of 50
Yeah.
musicians singing Todi Ragam in a CD. But still, their music was original. They had unique ideas. Whatever we sing today is either based on what we learned via songs and varnams, or what we listen to these 5 to 10 great musicians. And then, of course, we have Seshagopalan sir, we have T.M. Tyagarajan, we have S. Kalyan Raman. I had my guru. So, of course, these 10 to 15 musicians, I should say, though those that's the data that we have today. But then they didn't have this many. So there, see, I understood the idea of why the guru insisted, because the student cannot grow and take informed decision
Correct.
once they are into their after a decade of learning. As to any student can take a decision on what to sing, what not to sing, what to listen to, what not to listen to. The guru need not be there holding their hands and guiding them after that. But till then, the student, of course, needs one guiding hand to make their own. See, even take with PSN sir, he of course has a lot of students, and we none of us sing the same, none of us sound the same. It's amazing. If see, when I started teaching, my I was much younger then, and I thought, no, I should understand how my guru teaches, and I should teach like that. I was not able to. I was not able to understand how he made us sing a particular sangati very easily. How he heard different versions of the sangatis that he sang from each of the student. But then what did he let go? Which sangati did he let the student to make a small mistake now and know that they will get it right? after a while. So those are the things only a guru will know about a student. So it is, see, it is hard already because of online learning and different kinds of concepts that you hear left, right, and center. So it is already hard for a student to know what to take and what not to take. So there is no point in confusing with learning from two or three gurus, especially for the first 10 years of learning. So I'm very sure about
Really about it.
what I say to my students, and also to there's a very simple explanation as well. Each musician has a gamakam of their own, a gamakam speed, which is defined by their voice, their guru, their training, their approach, what they like in Carnatic music. So it all defines their gamakam speed and the way they teach their students. Each one of them have. Even if you learn from two students of the same guru, they're going to have different approaches to the same song that they learned. So there is no point in learning two different ways of gamakams, because the other guru is going to teach you a different way of approaching gamakams. So it's
Definitely.
going to be very hard for the student to go back and forth, and it's harder on the guru as well. So every time you teach something and then the student learns from the other person and then comes back to you, you have to reinstall your way of singing it. So it's hard.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
It's very nice that we got to hear this from you. And Bhuvana, I had another shade of the same question, and the reason why I say another shade, because I was going to go into more on the online aspect, and like you said, if the padandram has to transcend, right, between the guru to the student and then the student. So any if I sing Pankajalochana today, anybody who say and the Samangudi Pani will never change. All the students who learned from Samangudi sir Sishya Parampara, Pankajalochana would be the same, and the Sangati marave mara, it doesn't change. There were, like you said, there might be a slight variation here and there, but it still remains. I think that is how we preserve the Padandram. It's so strong, and that is one reason why the students should continue to learn, like you said, for a considerable amount of time to imbibe that. And and I was just getting on to the same shade. When I say same shade, it's because, like I said, it's more related to the online. With all these, we have actually rediscovered music through online, the various technologies that we have today. So a lot of kids and adults actually have been more interested because of the availability of the art form in all these avenues, right? More avenues, more opportunities to learn, more people interested because it's like now available, right? And so it has become easy to learn online too. But what my problem is that, I've been pondering about this. It's of course good and learning experience for them, definitely, because we always say Shravanam Kirtanam. That is definitely there. But having said that, one would have to be wondering, are the students picking up the right kind of chaste music to listen to and imbibe? And you already answered, but then what I'm trying to figure out is, as a guru, how do we train them to cope up with that challenge? Like, when I say that, no, you don't have to learn online, I don't have any control over the student, right? So how can we, as a guru, how can we train them? Like, by saying, I think I would replay what you said to them. That's all I can do. It's more about instilling that thought, but I would really want your take on it.
I'll just add one more thing for that. What I tell my students is, I give them a list of musicians that I listen to.
I see.
Nice.
But I never stop them from listening to anyone. I ask them to go listen to anyone that they want, and come back and tell me what they felt about their music. If you learn a song from an online version of it, come and sing it to me.
Exactly. That's a very
So
nice.
that is always there. But and listening, I think it's a complementary process. It all adds up to their musical growth. See, I teach, and I'm not gonna tell them you don't listen to this. I teach. If they ask me my opinion about something, I'm surely going to be honest with them and tell them what I feel. But still, I've never stopped a student from listening or accepting a particular kind of music.
Okay.
I will surely stop them from imitating any musician, even if that is a musician that I adore, even if that is a musician that I listen to. Surely want them to not imitate, because that's not good for their voice as well.
Mm.
But uh, listening and taking ideas surely is good, and that is why I'm there. So it will come up when they sing in my class, when they sing before me, when they sing in a concert, and I listen to it. I will understand where this is coming from in their monodramam. So I will know. So I've been blessed because that way, because I've listened. That is all I've done growing up. My dad used to. Uh, he used to collect music like crazy and just play it for me. He used to record from the radio like at 3 a.m. in the morning and then play it when I wake up. The first minute I wake up, he'll just play it for me. So
Wow.
that is how he has been doing. So I've listened to a lot different other genres too, that way. So when I listen to my student, I will surely know about where this comes from, and if it is wrong or not good for their voice. Let's say they are trying out a different way of briga pattern, and that's actually not complementing their voice structure today.
Mhm.
So there are two ways of approaching this. I'll tell them either to change their approach towards that sangari, or not to sing it for a while, train for it specifically, and then sing.
Yeah.
So these are the ways that you can guide a student towards which is good for them. A perfectly great musician's music or way of singing will not fit a really good student as well. It depends on their voice, their
Yeah.
temperament, and their number of hours they have for sadhakam.
Mhm.
Yes.
So that is how, that's not a science though. You just have to go understand the student and then go by it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you
So,
very much for it. Over to you, Bhuvana.
so many of our teachers, right? I mean, when we learned, or at least when I learned, never gave us notations. I mean, they will just teach us and they'll have us repeat. In fact, they would not even, many of them would not even write it. My teacher would write it for me after I finished the song. And she would say, like, come back next class. Of course, I went like 3 times a week. But, she used to expect me to memorize it, and keep it in my mind and go and deliver it the next day to a certain proficiency. My question is, that did foster, thinking on my part. And as far as I think it does foster, swarajnanam, in the student. Whereas when you teach with notation, it fosters precision. The sangati is delivered so crisply and so clearly. There is no scope for any kind of mistake, or even gamakas or anything like that. In some banis they even write the anuswarams, where it comes from, and so Mike, is this is one good over the other, or is it something that's just comfortable, and can be chosen by the teacher? So that's my question to you.
Um, it's very interesting what you said, because that is how I learned. Uh, my dad used to write. I was like, when I started, I was 8, and he used to write the notation after the class was over, after I learned the songs.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
my guru would see, not as much as my guru expecting me to sing it the next day. I would want to sing it because that is how I can learn a new song.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if I don't sing it properly, if we don't go there and present it without mistakes, see, there was the number of mistakes. If there was more than 5 to 10 mistakes in a song that you learned the day before, uh, you don't stand a chance of learning something new again. So it is always,
Correct.
it's you take that pressure on yourself, getting every single
Yeah.
sangati correct and remembering it. So I used to have an hour and a half probably, of commute from my guru's place to where I lived. So in that 1.5 hours, I'll go through the whole 1 or 2 songs that I learned. I had to. It will, and eventually it became second nature. You always keep thinking about it, and then I wouldn't even need to refer to the notation after a while.
I see.
So before coming and singing before the guru, and when I started teaching, so my take on that is, this is how I train my students too. I don't give them notation, I don't give them lyrics. I of course ask them, they are free to record though,
We
which is
didn't have
again, we
when
didn't have
we
recordings back then. No, no. Even I started recording when I was 18 or 19. I still remember the songs I learned from the age 8 to 16 better than what I learned
correct.
after.
There you go.
Yes, you're
What
right.
I learned looking at my guru, like intently and waiting for every single small nuance. So that those songs I still remember. I even remember what I had in my mind while learning. That surely is not possible learning from a recording. Having said that, and even notations. See, notations help if the student is in a intermediate stage. The student still needs to know what swaram it is.
Okay.
That is the stage when the student needs a notation. I still don't profess that, because I don't give notation to even my students who start learning varnams from me. I sing it and I want them to listen to it and sing.
I see.
Because see, I'm all for details. It's because it's me. I'm all for details, and I don't let go even a small minute gamakam change. So it is easy for the student and myself if they hear and sing, rather than just sing the swaram and then me going back and then telling them, no, this swaram has to go from this, the gamakam has to start at this swaram and then go there. This happens sometimes too, but mostly I have a phrase, I ask them to copy paste what I sing. So even if they don't even need to think about the swarams. They need to hear what I sing and then open their mouths.
Wonderful.
That's literally, so that way, even if you don't get the sangari today, your mind gets it.
Correct.
Getting the sangari is a two-way process. Understanding and then getting your voice to work it up. So if you understand the sangari, you just need to open up and sing. That's it. You will get it if you work on your voice on the side. So that's my way of approaching. I do give them notations only after they learn the song. That's
Okay.
more for preservation rather than anything else.
So yeah, for reference at a later point. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Also, like you've had the fortune of being trained by a mridangist who's a great vidwan. Manodharma occupies a large part of all your concerts, and swara singing, you take it to the ultimate where you employ different kanakas, owing to your laya jnanam, right? I mean, it's a large part of your swara singing is because of your laya. How do you kind of make sure that, for example, when I go to a concert and I listen to a stalwart singing, for example, a stalwart like you singing swarams, of course, it's beautiful to hear, but I just want to know how you maintain the ranjakam, part of it. Like, how do you maintain the balance between, the listener's enjoyment and, satisfying your, need for exploring the swaram in entirety.
My concept is, if I enjoy it, if I really like it, probably my audience will also like it. Like, to put it the other way, I have to like it first. I
Okay.
have to I have to feel the musicality in whatever I do. So I should be very happy, 100% happy about the way, how to understand where it crosses the line of not being a mathematical pattern,
Exactly.
rather than it's sounding musical.
Yeah.
I've heard my guru said one thing. Um, he asked me, என்ன பாடினாலும் சரளகு மாதிரி கேட்கணும்,
Thank you.
என்ன கணக்கு வேணாலும் பாடு. Sarvalaguna, see, we don't need to go into what the meaning of the actual word Sarvalagu here is, but what he meant was whatever you sing, it has to sound musical. Any mathematical pattern. Oh, I've even listened to it. It was very interesting. I heard an interview of Lal Gudi Jayaraman sir echoing the same thing. He said, for a Rasika who does not know what mathematical pattern that you are creating, it should not even sound, it should be the Kanaka, the math pattern has to be subtle enough that it should not even sound like there is some math going on.
Okay.
Ah,
So if you listen to, he lived by that. If you listen to Lalgudi sir's patterns, there are so much brilliant patterns that he makes, even in his solo concerts or during when he accompanied, or even in his compositions. All his tilanas have so beautiful patterns, but they are all imbibed. They are all, I'm sorry, they are all embedded. It is so much, so much so that you need to look for it.
Correct.
So that is how it has to be. See, and on the other hand, I've also listened to stalwarts like Alutru Brothers or Seshagopalan sir, who actually, they Stabidam Panified, uh, how to say this? They
established. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they established what mathematical pattern is, how effective it can be. It's a
Yeah,
different area of exploration, which also
definitely.
intrigued me, and my learning from my guru helped me as well. My learning Mridangam helped me, and it was
Mm.
complementary. I wanted to learn more of it, so learning Mridangam helped me, and because I learned it, I got more interested into this. So
Mm.
it just became a cascading effect for me. But
Mm. Because of your complementary learning of Mridangam along with music has made it
yeah,
wonderful.
for sure, for sure.
So,
And it works the both ways too. A mridangist who knows to sing
yeah,
plays in a different level.
of course.
So it's been the case always. Their understanding of how to approach a kriti surely differs.
Of course.
So for me, that's what the so I listened to that. I learned via hearing all these musicians, and then I wanted to do so. It's a process. Like everybody has a line though. This is how much I will do the math. This
Yeah.
is my musicality. So it's a choice. You make and you fine tune it. After a while, it all sounds musical. Hopefully,
Might be your question.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to get you to sing now. We've been talking a
Yeah.
lot, and
Yeah.
it's definitely what you're saying itself is music to my ears, because these are all precious advice that we really want to hear from you. And moving on, I would actually tag along to Bhuvana's question by saying, you know, yes, and how do you then satisfy the ordinary rasika's desire for just the bhakti aspect that's conveyed through the sahitya? As many of your concerts have fewer tukadas, so we want to.
Yeah.
So may we request you to present a tukada for us?
oh yeah, sure, I will. But yeah, it's getting more and more. Right now, it used to be much fewer tukadas before. I just used to get carried away with whatever manodramam that I used to do that day. It's getting better now, I think. But still, yes,
No, we
it is
enjoy it. We
fewer
thoroughly
there.
enjoy it. No doubt about that. We thoroughly enjoy it. And even in that, I see that, in a very elaborate Pallavi, when you get to the Pallavi, the Sahityam, you just melt our hearts with the Sahityam, the Bhavam. The Pantuvarali Pallavi was like, it was a different level. And so that's there. But for a very ordinary person who wants to appreciate the art form, you know, from the knowledge that you have, I think singing tukadas would be like it'll take them to the next level of learning more about it.
I mean, yeah, I do even see. Yeah, Tukada, so surely I'll sing. But then to answer your question, um, for any Rasika who does not have a musical background or learning, it is on the artist to make them love whatever is presented. It is my take on that. It's not just the Tukkada, the devil like. You can sing a Mayama, you can sing a Itinyayama, or any song for that, with any mood to melt their hearts, to make them. It's not just the melting of the heart, right? It's all the emotions. It's all the navarasas that the composers have given us. You can make them feel it, and it has to come from the artist from within for sure. But it is on the artist, is what I feel. It's not just the tukadas that they will like. You can melt their hearts with a very very slow paced, very soulful rendition of a very serious kriti. And yes, language is a barrier. Is a, I wouldn't say a hindrance, but a barrier, because um, if you are a Tamil, to comprehend a Telugu song, yes, it's hard. But then again, what else can we do? Then the musician has more of a responsibility uh, to present his music itself, to to make them feel it, rather than sing in the same language. Of course, the language is going to be helpful for them to understand and emote. Uh, but still, it's the musicality which has to come out at that point.
Please sing us.
Being said that, yes, I will. You want a whole song, or I'll just sing a bit of the song?
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever you think is right.
Yep.
భజ గోవిందం భజ గోవిందం భజ గోవిందం భజ గోవిందం గోవిందం భజ మూఢమతే భజ గోవిందం భజ గోవిందం గోవిందం భజ మూఢమతే భజ గోవిందం భజ భజ గోవిందం సంప్రాప్తే 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 సన్నిహితే కాలే సంప్రాప్తే సన్నిహితే కాలే నహి నహి రక్షతి గుప్తకరణే సంప్రాప్తే సన్నిహితే కాలే నహి నహి करणे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भज गोविन्दम् पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनं पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे इह संसारे बहुदुष्टारे इह संसारे बहुदुष्टारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे इह संसारे बहुदुष्टारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भज गोविन्दं 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 भज गोविन्दं
Aha, aha.
Thank you. No
Thank
words
you,
to
thank you
describe
very
it.
Thank
So
you.
beautiful. Thank you. You know, use of different genres like Hindustani. Dance is usually, at least as the little that I know, it's done in like lighter ragas like Mand, perhaps, Behag, or some others. But I mean, you're known to experiment with tans even with Carnatic ragas, right? Like Bhairavi or Todi, kind of thing. To get a clear understanding of what it is, can you please sing us something and tell us, what those tans are? So, for our viewers, we know how you use the tans and, like in a heavily Carnatic raga and how you can blend it in,
Yeah, well, it started with me listening to a lot of Hindustani music, and even not just Hindustani. There are a lot of musicians from other lineage too who have used it a lot extensively. Seshagopalan sir
Yes.
sang exponentially. You know how he could just weave on and on and on. Yes, this Kalpanai, this Kataksham of Kalpanai, which can never stop, and we are all thankful for it. And take Eskalan Raman, take GNB, and then also a lot of I do listen to a lot other kinds of music too. So I it started with only ragams like, as you mentioned, ragams like Mand and Sindhu Bhairavi and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But then I slowly started exploring, trying to uh, present it, sneak it in, if I may, in a ragam which is very highly classical. For example, wait. Uh, uh, let's take Kalyani format
Sure.
for the matter. சரியா? Let's say I'm singing at Haiga. Na, 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 so these are all normal uh, Carnatic music prayogams, right? So, so you can take cue from that. So you have to kind of ease it in. That is how I like how I said that's the only way to say it, because it's still a new territory.
Yeah.
Still not many of us explore different music prayogams in Carnatic music, especially for classical ragam. So it has to be. So for this, you need to have a preemption of. So that's the link I would feel. So you will get a feel of link, like a link like this, from which you can move on to that.
So would you say that tans are the next up level of the, and I wouldn't, the brigas or the gamakas that you're using from the Carnatic phrases?
No, I wouldn't say next up level.
Okay.
This is just a different way of approaching
doing it. Okay.
Yeah. So we have the next up level. We have brigas.
Okay.
After this, the next up level would logically be. So this is purely Carnatic.
Okay.
We've been doing this. So this will be the up level, if I may say so. But
I mean, for lack of my understanding, I probably said that. Yeah.
Yes. So tans would be at vertical exploration.
I see. But it's beautiful, nevertheless, and there's always, our music is evolving, and it always provides scope for newer elements to be brought in, so long as it's in the framework of the Carnatic. Would you say that?
Yeah, of course, for sure, because even again we have to go back to the Trinity. They have showed us the way. You can take up so many of songs by Dikshitar,
yes,
in which he has composed songs based on Hindustani ragams, on Hindustani feel, to be specific, and also so he has taken ideas from the Western music way of singing as well, and even in ragams like Kalyani, Kamalamba Bajre's Sharanam, if you take it specifically, it's completely different from a normal approach of Kalyani. So they have showed us that there is always scope for I wouldn't say improvement, but improvisations.
Okay. At this point, I mean, since you mentioned Dikshitar's compositions with a Hindustani, because he himself learned Hindustani for a long time. He composed this song in a ragam called Ram Kali, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Would you be able to just present, because it's so different from the regular Carnatic composition of Dikshitar? Is it possible for you to sing a couple of lines or something else? So that is not not the Dikshitar or any composers, but with a very Hindustani touch to it.
Okay. So. I'll take up Dikshitar himself.
I'll just sing the Anupallavi and Sharanam. Nutana Nirada Sadrisha Sariram Nandaki Shoram Nutana Nirada Sadrisha Sariram Nandakishoram Pitavasana Dharam Kambu Dharam Giridharam Bhutanati Samharam Purushottamavataram Bhutanati Samharam Purushottamavataram Shitala Hridaya Viharam Shri Rukminitaram Cheda Shri Bala Krishnam Bhajare Chinti Pradasharanare Vindam Mukundam Chida Shri Bala Krishnam There's just one such example by Dikshita when he can completely go off his normal routine and compose something like
Yeah,
this.
definitely. Um, more musicians these days like to explore genres that are different on a regular Carnatic concert. There's this departure, wander away from the traditional presentation.
Mhm.
And what is your take on this? Like I asked for this composition already, so you already sang a song in a genre that is like it's Carnatic, but it has a touch of the Hindustani. But do you think singing in I wouldn't call it genres. Perhaps it's still Carnatic, but it is definitely it has influences of other genres in it. Does it take away from traditionalism, even though it sounds beautiful? And does that? How would you? What would you think about that aspect?
Well, we even both of us, I think, we answered this question when we spoke about how Dikshatar explored all this.
Yes,
So if he was open to it, and I really think we should all be. but
definitely.
but having said that, how was he? We see that gives us much more of a responsibility now because we are in the footsteps of Madhuswami Dikshitar now. So the approach should be, how did he approach it? How did he first of all learn that type of music first? So even before presenting it, even before composing something in it, it was not just listening to it randomly and then composing a song and saying that, you know what, I compose something in Hindustani. You know
Hindustani
what,
here.
I sing this.
It takes a lot more than that, because we have that responsibility, because we sit on stage and we present something. There are students there, there are rasikas there who believe you, and you have the personal responsibility of being as truthful as possible on stage.
Yes.
So having said all that, I need to be sure about what I sing.
Yes.
So my take on that will be, the more I understand, the more I'll present it. I do present a few compositions which are in ragams taken from Hindustani, uh, which are composed by Carnatic musicians, but the ragams are something like a pahadi or a manda, like how I sang now. This beautiful tune is by Voleti Venkateshwaralu. He tuned a lot more songs like this. S. Kalyan Raman sir tuned a lot of
Yes.
songs in a variety of Hindustani ragams. So I would understand them. I would understand how a musician approach this ragam and then present it for sure. Yeah, I would say yes.
Yes. Of course, it brings like variety and in the concert. Yes, and of course, and it sounds pleasing. So why not?
Of course.
Yeah. And Mythraeyee, I don't. I think it's this question, and I think it's going to you, right?
Yeah, I will go ahead and
Yeah.
take the pleasure of asking you. I've been wanting to ask you this. Your presentation style is very unique, yet very chaste, with no compromise on the traditional aspects of the kacheri.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that innovation does not interfere with classicism? I also wanted, when I said your style, presentation style is unique, I really wanted to say that, when you sing Ahiri, you take us in a trance. It's in a different level, and it's still innovative. It's like, what am I hearing? It's an experience for the rasikas. How are you able to do this? And I'll go back to my question again. How do you ensure that the that innovation does not actually interfere with the classicism?
I owe it to my guru. I keep saying I know everything I owe to my guru and back and forth, but I actually mean it, because that's the truth basically, and I'm not just saying it because there are so many things that they start off in a musician, and it just completely transforms the way you think, the way you approach music, the way you even approach fellow musicians. The music that I actually wouldn't have heard, the musicians that I wouldn't have been my cup of tea.
Mhm.
But my guru's words, or the way he approached, he was so chill. He was like, uh, he would hear anything and everything. That kind of took me out of my own shell, and uh, s- start exploring more. And for your question specifically, uh, innovation sounds, uh, it does not sound crass
Mhm.
only if the musician has very strong fundamental core values.
Mhm.
So that I owe it to my guru. The way he trained us, he made us ready for our own innovation. Any of his students, for that matter, we are all were equipped to, because of the fundamental values that he instilled. The way we were instilled with Carnatic most core, very Sampradayik Carnatic values
Mhm.
growing up. No Kalapadam is the word. There is no adulteration there. So once you immerse yourself in that for the first 10 years, or how much ever the student needs to
Mhm.
get it as a second nature, after that, whatever innovation you do, whatever improvisation you do, it sounds unique. It's been the truth with any musician in the last, whatever we have been hearing the last 70 years. Their innovations sound unique. They sound unique only because their core values are so strong. So that probably is one of the reasons why you felt that even if I improvised on a song, certain sangaris, it still didn't sound out of the line. So that's I owe it to my guru. Any of that.
And now that I touched upon the Ahiri, can you? I am sure there are people out there waiting to listen to you sing. So can you present us Ahiri for us, please?
Uh, న్యాయమా మీనాక్షం న్యాయమా మీనాక్షి నీకితి న్యాయమా మీనాక్షి నీకిది
Ah,
నిన్ను వినా వేరేది నిన్ను వినా వేరే యని నీ
ah.
सरसि जबव हरिहरनुत सुललितनी पद पंकजमूल सरसि जभव हरिहरनुत सुललितनी पद पंकजमूल स्थिरमणि नम्मिति स्थिरमणि नम्मिति पद पंकजमूल स्थिरमणि नम्मिति 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 கருண ஜூடவே கருண ஜூடவே காத்யாயனி காளிகாபவானி கருண ஜூடவே காத்யாயனி காளிகா பவானி परमेश्वरी सुंदरेश्वरानी बालांब मधुरवाणी परमेश्वरी सुंदरेश्वरानी बालांब मधुरवाणी यम मायनी पिल्लचीते माट्लाड பம்பமயம் yani ne pillachide ma lada ambama yamma yani
Oh, thank you.
Soulful
Just
rendition, it's my favorite and favorite ragam.
a lot of the viewers have been asking for it for our
Oh
hearing.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Coming to, we could keep talking, but I think we have to. We have a few more questions, if that's okay with you, and then we'll wrap up quickly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Um, how do we improve Layajnanam? Recommendations as a percussionist and performer and a teacher. Should a vocal student train at least for some time under a mridangist for that? Are there some specific Laya exercises that you can suggest or look up, or suggest for us to look up?
It surely helps to learn Mridangam. Not for a violinist, unfortunately, they cannot learn to play because it's probably not
Yeah.
good idea. But for a vocalist, for sure, yes. At least for some time to get the basic idea,
Okay.
for sure. And exercises, we have to go back to our fundamentals. We are anything to learn, anything to understand, anything to strengthen in Carnatic music. We have it even before the Varnams start. So
Okay.
our Varsais will help you not just to improve this Varanyanam, not just to improve the speed in the voice when you do Akara Sadhakam, but also just by exploring these Varsais in different nadais itself will strengthen a musician's Layanyanam. Just to do just as simple as um, um, Sariga magari sariga sariga mariga mapa maga. Just a very gentle, easy practice of doing the Tisram of Alankaram. Or
Yes.
if you do it in Kandam, it will actually come to Samam at the first time because every Alankaram is like 10. Sariga magari sariga mariga mapa maga riga maga riga mapa ga mapa da pa maga mapa maga mapa da mapa da ni mapa da pa mapa da ni ba da ni za ni da ba da ni da ba da ni za ni da ba da ni za ni da ni za ni da ba. So this I'm just demonstrating a bit. This is Kandam Madhimakalam, but just by doing this is enough. These are starting points for us to
Build the
understand. We can try this early verse. Just take this early verse and do it on. Uh, just 1 second. Sorry. So just by doing Sarli verse in different nades itself will help us strengthen our line.
Mythraeyee, your question about the Pallavi?
Yeah, sure. So, all your concerts have pallavis in different nadais and talas. You're also doing your PhD on pallavis. Can you shed some light and, if possible, demonstrate a pallavi that you like and walk us through the uniqueness of it? What actually drew you towards pallavi to do a PhD in pallavis?
I've always, ever since I think I learned my first Pallavi when I was 7. I mean, first Nadai Pallavi, like in a different Nadai than Satusram. And I've always been intrigued and wanted to learn and explore more. And this, I think I should say, my inclination towards learning Mridangam surely drove me towards it. So I started exploring a lot more and collecting, even collecting books on Pallavis and collecting newer Pallavis or old Pallavis that people have been singing and trying to see how they've explored. It's very interesting to see how the evolution of Pallavi itself is. how people have approached it, say 100 years ago, and then when it changed, how it has been changing. I wouldn't say gotten. It's just got more variety now. That's it. So that surely has been. It's all interesting to me, and I started. That is what drove me towards learning more about Pallavis and different kinds of Pallavis, and also my own way of approaching it. Then of course it starts to change, and I start doing my own small simple innovations in them. I recently did a reverse concept of Pallavi, which is like the entire. I started. The idea I had was more about the whole concept of approaching a Pallavi, Ragam Tanam Pallavi, and then reversing the whole thing and making it a mirror image of each. See, that was the basic concept I had. Then even the Pallavi words and the slokam that I sang before the Pallavi, I found a slokam which was a complete mirror image, reverse. The first line was the reverse of the of the second line. So the more you explore, you get to know all these things, and it surely helps that way. And so those were small things, and I did too a couple of years back. I did something called uh, it's I don't have a name for it. A Sanda Pallavi or the Sanda Tala Pallavi. Say not so wherein you take a Pallavi which has already been sung, you have a specific carve for each word. And then it's not set to a talam. You take the words and then the sandam of the words and then put the talam according to it. Like with that way we have our Tirupugar.
I see.
இயலிசையில் உச்சிதவஞ்சி கயர்வாகி. That's the talam, right? There is no specific talam for this. So the same way, why not sing a Pallavi like this?
Oh, wow.
That's my idea. So these are ideas that the only you get these ideas when you start exploring and listening to a lot of concerts. I've heard Alaturu brothers do an entire Tirupugar concert and a Pallavi in it. It's it's a slight variation from what they've done. They've just taken the Tirupugar itself. But what I do is I take a normal Pallavi and do it as a Sandatalam.
Okay.
So something like that. I can show you once more. I can show you some Pallavi, yes, for sure. So this actually is a Pallavi that I teach. This is my intro Pallavi into any other nadai other than Chatusram. So because this is a very simple but deceivingly simple Pallavi. This is a Pallavi. The words are by Professor T.R. Subramaniam, sir. Was again one great giant of innovative Pallavi singing. He was simply. I think he is the father of the new age Pallavi approach, because he did everything what we are trying to comprehend today. He did all that 30 years back, 40 years back, and with such ease. Like he composed Pallavis like a new Pallavi in 3 different nadais on the spot on the stage. See, he was like in an unbelievable level, so as to say. So, anyways, this is one of his Pallavis. Very simple Pallavi though, but it has everything in it. I'll just showcase it. I've even sung it before. Shri Raja Gopal Balam Baje Shrita Jana Palam Shri Raja Gopal Balam Baje. So, Shrita Jana Palam Shri Raja Gopal Balam Baje. So, why this Pallavi as an intro for me with my students is that it's got so many pluses. It is Chadusara Jampai. So it's a new talam rather than whatever they have been used to. And it's in Kandanadai. And though it is in Kandanadai, it's got a lot of checkpoints in which you can understand why, even while singing, approaching all those, doing those Anulomam, Vilomam, and Pratilomam, you'll be able to understand where you go wrong first. When the student practices for his or herself, uh, it's very easy to approach this Pallavi, but it's got all the toughness of any
Correct.
Nadai Pallavi for that matter. And it also has another thing. So TRS sir was one of those musicians who did a lot of pattern based Pallavis, as in the Pallavi itself will have a pattern in it. So for us in this Pallavi, Sri Raja Gopal Balam Bhaje. This is basically three sixes partitioned
Mhm.
into 3-2-1, 3-2-1, and 3-2-1. So there is a pattern there, right there, and if you understand that pattern and get used to it, all your Anulomam Vilomam will be much easier. 'Cause if this becomes second nature, you just need to concentrate on your talam.
Wow.
And but on the other hand, the Uttarangam part does not have any specific pattern. It is just Trita Jana Palam. It is just a climax finish and coming back to the pattern here. So students get the taste of both, uh, either patternized Pallavis and also something which is the carways are given only for the effect of it.
Mm.
For example, listen to, I'll give you another example. கதிர்வடி வேல ஊனது பதம் தூணையே ஓராறு மூக்கனே தேவாதி தேவனை கதிர்வடி வேல ஊனது Tunaye. So this is a Pallavi by Alutru Brothers in Aditalam Sankirana Nadai, but it does not follow any pattern at all. The words are given specific carways just for the punch of it. So when you sing the second speed, கதிர்வடி வேலவுனது பதம் துணையே ஓராறு மூகனே தேவாதி தேவனை கதிர்வடி வேலவுனது பதம் துணையே ஓராறு மூகனே தேவாதி தேவனை கதிர்வடி வேலவுனது பதம் துணையே. So you understand the when knowing Halutru Brothers' way of approach, this fits right in there. So this is a way of approaching Pallavis, wherein you just give carways for the feel of it, for wherever you get the punch.
Aha. It's the
Exhausted.
tip of the iceberg, right? It's just a tip of the iceberg there. There is so much to know. And, with Balamurali on the call, I think time, it doesn't, we wouldn't know bounds. So I would, ask you, Bhuvana, to ask your last question
Yeah.
probably, and then I'll go ahead and,
It's very relevant to our times that learning and listening concert singing has been redefined by the pandemic. Concerts and leg demos have moved from sabhas into your drawing rooms of every household. This has obviously expanded the audience. However, what do you think of the experience that the artist might get out of this? And you know I'm sure there are new things that will come from this, but given the current scenario, what is your feeling about singing, in a not in a sabha, to direct audience, but through
Um, the answer is actually mixed, because I thought it would be completely different
okay.
initially. When I presented a Pallavi with no accompaniments, That was different, yeah, for sure. One thing which was completely weird for me was to sing without Pakavadyam. It's
Yeah,
not as if I've not practiced, I obviously practice alone, but there is a mindset of when you sing, when you sit there to present a concert. And for that mindset of, I do need my accompanists, and it felt really raw. And for me,
yeah.
a few of my friends told me that they didn't actually feel it. That's probably because I just imagined having a Pakautim there and just sang. Maybe that feeling got transported to them. But on a serious note, other than that, I did a video shoot, but with no audience. It's just a
I see.
regular video shoot. Like whatever the radio recording that you go and do, or is just broadcasted, is just telecasted, and this is webcasted. That's it, right? So like that, that was the feeling. But then after a while, maybe 5 minutes into the concert, I didn't even feel anything. I I missed my audience. I think at any point an artist goes into this zone. That's when I realized it. Actually, I've been doing this for the past 25 years, but I didn't. This epiphany came to me 2 months back, and I realized it, it works both ways. I do imagine having audience before me when I sing, and I lose myself completely to not even know whether there is anybody before me,
Yeah,
or am I singing in a sabha, or am I singing in a temple. It goes away after a while. And also there is this innate feeling of singing before uh, thousands of people. So I don't know how to explain this further, but I didn't feel any different. I felt the same way as I would have felt singing in a sabha, but we have to see how this works, how long this works.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, we can, so far as the questions, we can just keep going on. We had written many more, but I think we are winding down, and Mythraeyee, we will do the
Oh, yeah.
need. Yes.
I'm really honored to actually be thanking you, Balamurali ji. Thank you very much for your time, your valuable inputs and insights. I have a few pointers. You've certainly enlightened us with great tips for on teaching and learning techniques, and have also emphasized the importance of the bond between, the Guru Sishya Bhava.
Yeah.
That is what makes what we are today, right? And I'm so glad that you were able to touch on that in detail and talk to us about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We
My
wish you
pleasure.
the very best and hope
My
that
pleasure.
you soon perform online and in person too. We look forward to the benefit that we get from the theses that you're working on your Pallavis, because that's a treasure trove that we are looking forward to. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you
Namaste.
so much. Namaste.
Namaskaram.
Namaste.
Namaskaram.
Namaste.
Thank you.